Ariel Helwani in Las Vegas for UFC 182 alongside Myles Jury, who meets Donald Cerrone this Saturday live on pay-per-view. Myles, huge fight for you, a big opportunity, and what's interesting about it is, as it has been laid out to us, Donald says he heard you say some stuff about his teammate Diego Sanchez. He said to Dana White after his last fight, "This is the guy I want. Why not? You just fought a week before against Gomi. This is the guy I want." When you think back to what you said about Diego in the cage, when you said, "Oh, you know, it was an easy fight," do you think he's making a little too much about this, or can you see why he was a little annoyed?
I mean, honestly, I feel like that's just his personal opinion, and everybody's entitled to it. I mean, the what I said about Diego after the fight was just my own, saying of how I felt about the fight, and yeah, that's how I felt about it. So it is what it is.
Were you surprised that he picked you? This is a guy who's pretty close to the title picture, and you're on your way up. But typically, a guy like that, usually you're the one who calls out a guy like that, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you're saying, and I feel like I'm doing something right if I got guys like him calling me out. So yeah, it is what it is.
What's it like being a part of all of this? Jones and DC, you've been on one pay-per-view before in the UFC, you were on The Ultimate Fighter, but never a part of something like this. What's it like for you?
It's special, it's like a gift to be able to be on this a card like this, and I mean, I'm just taking it all in. I'm enjoying the moment and enjoying the process, and it's gonna be something very cool to look back on. Sunday when I wake up and I ain't got nothing to do, it's gonna be very special memories.
Do you look forward to that? Like, are you the kind of person who kind of like the Sunday is the light at the end of the tunnel, or do you enjoy the process?
I really try and enjoy the process, but I mean, I really, Sunday is like my day, like when I don't have no obligations, I don't have to fight, I don't have to train, I don't have to cut weight, none of that. And it's like, I mean, I love my job and I love what I do, and I wouldn't do anything else in the world. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is a job sometimes, and I really do though look forward. Sundays are like my days just to chill.
How do you unwind on that Sunday? Like, what's the go-to thing?
I mean, definitely get some good food. Get away from kind of like the fight scene, get my mind off of fights, and whether go to the mall, go to the beach, whatever, hang out in San Diego.
Okay, so now we have the situation where Anthony Pettis just fought, and the lightweight picture is somewhat wide open. I mean, we know that Dos Anjos is there, Khabib is there, but afterwards it's pretty wide open. You beat Donald Cerrone. Do you think that you're just one fight away from fighting for the belt?
I feel like when I beat Donald Cerrone, I feel like that puts me right in line for a title shot. Personally,
skip those other guys.
Yeah, that's my opinion. I mean, it's up to the UFC obviously and whatever they want to do. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Will you ask for that? Will you, in this day and age, when you get on the mic with Joe Rogan after the fight, after the win, good things happen when you, specifically ask for things.
I don't want to say I'm going to do that because like I'm usually so lost in the moment and so fired up after the fight, but that's definitely a possibility. But I don't know. We'll see what I say after the fight.
So you're not planning anything?
Yeah, I'm not planning anything. Like there's no like set structure for right after.
I remember talking to you after your win over Ramsey Nijem in San Jose, and you had a lot of interesting things to say about the title. Like, you weren't really, like, that was a goal, but you weren't really thinking about the title even back then. You were very much a next practice, next fight, next opponent kind of guy. Is that still the same, or now that you're so close, are you starting to really think about that title?
No, I mean, honestly, that's still the same. I mean, honestly, I've had talks with my coaches, especially Eric Del Fiero, and, we've had to sit down a couple of times, and, honestly, trying to chase that title, you'll go crazy, man, in this sport. And at the end of the day, I really don't have any control over that. What I have control over is just showing up and performing for 15, 25 minutes, whatever it is. Opponents can change. UFC could like my fight, dislike my fight. I really don't have any control. It's up to UFC eventually to give me a title shot. So I'm just sticking to what I have control over, and that's just getting better as a fighter, trying to enjoy these processes, and just, going out there and performing for 15 minutes.
You're undefeated in the UFC. We won't count the Ultimate Fighter. Yet, you don't get talked about as much as Khabib and Dos Anjos and, of course, Pettis and Cerrone. Why is that, in your opinion?
Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like, I don't really do the Conor McGregor thing and the Chael Sonnen thing. And B, I'm still... I haven't had, Cerrone's had, like 12 fights in the UFC. Pettis is, WEC champ, and he's had a lot more fights, a lot more attention. So I'm just kind of, I'm hoping over the time, of more fights and people just seeing me more and understanding me as a fighter and as a person, whether they boo for me or cheer for me. I'm hoping that they will do one or the other.
You're one of those few guys who was on The Ultimate Fighter twice, injured the first time. You know what? There's one guy... Nordine Taleb, I hope I'm getting this right. Yeah, he was on the Canadian version and the sort of American one at the same time. I'm pretty sure it was him.
Okay. Yeah.
In any event, it's a very short list, right?
Yeah.
You get injured the first time, and then you lose the second time. Did you envision all of this? Like in the back of your mind, did you think, all right, just relax, everything's going to come together, or did you ever doubt yourself?
I mean, it was both. You know, I would be lying to you if I was like woke up every day and was like, oh, this is nothing. You know, I'm gonna be fine. You know, I definitely had doubts. Like, man, this is a possibility. Like, I might not ever be able to reach and get my goals and my dreams and all that. But at the same time, I was like, you know what, it's worth it to you know, buckle down and just, you know, ride this out and continue to, you know, chase my dreams. So I mean, there was definitely doubts, but I mean the feeling of when I would accomplish it and the feeling of like giving up on myself, if I would have done that, I couldn't live with myself. So you know, it was worth it to fight for my dreams.
You mentioned your team earlier. What's the mood like these days, with especially what happened to Dominic recently? I mean, you know, you've had an ACL injury. This guy, it's his third one, and not to mention the other injuries he's had as well. What's the mood, you know, when your captain goes down like that?
You know, honestly, I haven't had a chance really to sit down and talk to Dom about it. But I mean, what I've seen is before I left, I went into the gym on Monday, and he's in there coaching and yelling at the guys. And so, I mean, Dom's so mentally strong that, I mean, at this point, you know, not only is he mentally strong, but he's went through this process so many times. I think he's just kind of, he's over it, and he knows what he has to do to come back. And, you know, it's if he wants to come back. So, I mean, it ain't going to really affect him that much personally.
What about this hypnosis stuff that you do? I saw this on the Countdown show. You're holding a sword, and your instructor, is that the correct term, instructor? What's his name?
Sports psychologist, Boski.
Yeah. I mean, he's talking to you about all this stuff, you know, out-of-body stuff. Why do you feel the need to do that?
Well, I feel like, you know, the mental and the emotional game, I feel like is very overlooked in this sport. And, you know, that's something that I really want to work on. You know, I got that, you know, obviously from, you know, other training partners, but, you know, GSP when I was younger, I remember him talking about, you know, seeing a sports psychologist, and I was like, man, that's smart, that's clever, you know, and that's just another edge that I'm looking for. And Boski's kind of like a secret weapon to me. And, you know, honestly, what the best thing about Boski is just it's somebody on the outside with not a biased opinion. You know, he's not a trainer, he's not a fighter, he's a sports psychologist, so he gives it to me straight, man. He's like, whether it's my relationship, whether it's me and my coaches, my team, a fight, whatever, how I'm feeling, whatever the case is, you know, he's just always there to kind of like help me through whatever, you know, challenges I have.
When did you start working with him?
I started working with Boski right off The Ultimate Fighter, so I've been with him for about 2 years solid.
So he's the secret to your success in the UFC.
He's my secret weapon, yeah. He's like the secret ingredient, and you know, yeah, I mean, I definitely would say he gives me a great advantage.
Final question. When you envision this fight, how do you see it playing out?
You know, I'm not Nostradamus. I can't predict fights, but, you know, I really feel like confident that I can beat Donald Cerrone.
Looking forward to it. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.